Welcome back into Daily News Live as we welcome in Willie Colon on the phone to discuss the NFL news. The Bills fired Rex Ryan earlier today, this coming after an overtime loss to Miami. Rex Ryan became the head coach in 2015 and never had a winning season. But Willie, is it really fair to fire a head coach after only 2 seasons?
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with Rex. He promised to be in the playoffs, and he has yet to kind of fulfill his promise. I think the Bills wasn't happy with his role in hiring his brother. I think Anthony Lynn, the ex-running back coach for the Jets, who is now the interim head coach, with Rex leaving, I think his ability to step in is just well suited. Do I think it's fair? I don't think it's fair to fire him before playing the Jets. I think that's a little cold, but that's business.
Yeah, Willie, you get the feeling there must be something going on almost behind the scenes with him and the owners, because to fire him now, what's the point in firing him now with a week to go in the season? You think that would be the case?
I don't know. I think right now, I don't think they was happy with his brother's role in, taking over the defense. I think Rob ended up taking over the defense for the red zone defense, and that turned south for him. And I think people were just tired of Rex's antics and the whole show. And so I think Rex just headed to showbiz, and the Bills will move on.
All right, Willie, so we know Rex Ryan will not be on the sidelines as the Jets face the Bills on Sunday. So is this regime change in Buffalo the perfect time to see what Christian Hackenberg can do for the Jets?
No, I don't agree with it. I think you got to sit Hack. I don't think it's fair to put him out there. If he plays well, there's still not enough valuation to really understand where he's at. If he plays bad, people are just going to say he's a rookie and he hasn't got enough reps. So I think just finish the season. This season has been atrocious, to say the least. I think you got to give Hackenberg the time in the offseason, let him play the preseason to really give him a fair evaluation.
That was a brilliant answer, Willie. I totally agree with you. I wondered, though, do you respect, with all the turmoil swirling around the Jets, do you respect Bowles and the regime for sticking to their plan with Hackenberg and not – everybody wants him to play, let's face it, but they're resisting?
I don't know. I think it was tough because, especially the way Fitz played, and they pulled him and then they gave him another shot, and he didn't play well. And then throwing Bryce in there, you really wanted to see what you had in Bryce because he had been there for a while. It's tough to really kind of answer that. I think they played it the best way they can, so I guess I give kudos to those guys. But it's just been a mess all the way around.
Now, we heard Sheldon Richardson say Brandon Marshall should be embarrassed about the way he played against the Patriots. So there's clearly some tension surrounding Gang Green. And today, Brandon Marshall had some choice words about the mood around the locker room.
I'm surprised there wasn't any fistfights with this type of year. It would have been valid if we did have some. It's unacceptable. This is ball. This isn't a game. A lot of people say this is a game. This isn't a game. This is big business.
Those are some big words, Willie, and you have been in the locker room with those guys. What's kind of the first impressions when you hear them talk about that in season?
Well, it sounds very theatrical, first of all. I think, listen, the whole fighting culture was nipped in the butt by Todd Bowles when Geno got in his scuffle. There's no fight in the locker room. There's no need for that. Men are men. You should be able to express your feelings with words and be professionals at the end of the day. It's been a rough season for everybody in that locker room. They didn't meet expectations. There was a lot of high expectations going into it. But Brandon hasn't performed, and that's bottom line. So Sheldon has a right. I mean, he's the last one to talk about accountability, but he still has a right to say, hey, man, we need you just like they need me, and you haven't produced. And that's what teammates are allowed to do, hold each other accountable, but in a professional manner.
And, Willie, clearly there's some chemistry issue going on, whether these guys don't like each other or not, ego getting in the way. You've been in those locker rooms. You've played under Bowles. Is there anything more Bowles could do about this, or is this just something that has to be policed by the players or eventually weed some of these bad attitude guys out of here?
I think you have to weed some of those bad attitude guys out of there. I think there's a lot of guys, in particular Sheldon Richardson. He knows his value. He knows how good of a player he is, but he doesn't hold himself accountable off the field. And that's a problem, especially when you got young, talented guys who are looking for a leader. So it's tough.
Thanks so much for joining us, Willie.